Okay. Okay. Hello, guys. I got a quick lesson I actually just wanna kind of get into, or something pretty cool that I think I've been thinking about this for such a long time, and the one show that has caught on to it and actually done something with it is Lucifer, especially in season. Can't remember season 5, 4, and 6. I'm not too sure, but those seasons. But let's just go back to a quick story time. Okay. Beginning of everything, there was nothing. Like, you can take nothing as in, there's two ways you can view nothing. As in complete white is what this board looks like, or complete darkness. And in my interpretation of this, and in most interpretations, because it follows this line of thinking, I believe dark, like chaos, is all black, or at that time it was black. At the time it was just very black. And so God's face, and if you want me to draw, like, because to be honest, no one really knows what his face looks like, so you can just easily just I don't know, give him that kind of face, you know what I mean? All these books inside here because my window's open. Give him a face. His face was hovering over what was so called the waters, or the waters above. So you could see this is his face, and it was going, you could say he was going this way. And you could say there's a separation between God and chaos. So I'm just gonna put a C or K, CK, which is actually pretty funny about that. But the chaos and like the chaos below, because if we go back to, I guess if you fast forward a little bit more in time, you see that Lucifer falls due to pride and everything. But Lucifer is not the beginning of evil. I feel there is like a more greater evil that was there. He was evil incarnate. He let evil into the garden. He let evil into our reality and all that. But he is not the real evil out there. There's something way more worse than him. He just happened to be the thing that opened that door to that, and then allowed it into here. You know what I mean? So for a little bit of time, it was just, as you say, God alone, none of his angels, nothing, just him, just purely him alone, just kind of hovering over the waters, just going along. Then at quick moments, at quick moment, like just like a switch going off, he said, "Let there be light." And in that moment, that's when, this is where I want to get into. That's where Lucifer and I believe Michael were born, because I believe they're twins, to be honest. And this is why I just had this stupid toilet paper right here, just so I can block all this. But that's why I believe Lucifer and Michael are actually, they were born at the same time, to be honest. They were born at the same time, and the power that was given between them was very it was very divided, because Michael was given the power of the darkness, in which God was trying to, I guess, or God had control over it, but he was trying to establish more control over it, establish control over that chaos, like maintain that chaos and form it into something. And Lucifer would be just like literally the white of this board. So he would literally be the light. Hence his name would be the light bringer, or the light bearer, or the morning star, or the morning sun. There's a lot of keywords for Lucifer. There's a lot of keywords for him. But hence why his name is like that, because everywhere he went, he would glorify God's light, because literally he was the first accumulation of God's light in angelic form. And hence the same thing with Michael, but in its form that it's meant to keep, in its binding form. And you want to know how you can tell that? Because the universe itself is very dark. Hence like the like in the darkness, like it's funny because darkness does hold things together. It's not till you have a light source that you're able to go into the dark and see things in it. Michael is just kind of the thing holding everything together. Lucifer is the thing making everything bright, bearable, seeable, and God is the thing just maintaining order. So you can see already at the beginning of creation there was already like a trifecta, because you can put the G-man on top, you can put Michael and Lucifer already born on the same playing field. Now again, we can go into how Lucifer was God's right-hand man, which is very true. He was that man to God. Like he would go to him and do everything. But just remember, Michael actually controlled the heavenly host. He had all the power, all the strength. Lucifer just had, at the time, I guess you would say, all the glory, which is, again, two halves of the same coin, again. And another thing you can really see with these two names, I guess you can see it with, it's Michael, but it's honestly pronounced Micheal. I think it's Lucifer, but there's a lot of, like, this is the form that, I think this is the form before his fall. So this is his like angelic form. So you could already see that it already lines up. Like the name itself already lines up. And there's already seven lines in that. You can relate that number 7 back into chakras. The chakras of in our system, the 7 chakras that's on our earth, and the 7 chakras that make up the solar system. And I guess you can also take that back to the 7, like certain angels hold certain angels will govern certain chakras, certain angels will govern certain, like certain chakras, certain intelligence, and that you can also take that back into that, because after that structure, just more angelic structure kind of came. Like you'd have your cherub, like angels that just sung glory all day, angels that would make people, would just tend to the garden, angels that literally watched over, and then it would break down again into more groups of angels, more groups of angels, more groups of angels. Now you see why the angel, like there's certain angels in this, there's more angels to be made too. There's more archangels, there's Gabriel, Uriel, Metatron, so on and so forth. But you can say out of the tier of top angels, tier of archangels, this would be the first tier. And the second tier would be all those angels that I just listed, because they have their importance too. Because Gabriel is kind of God's messenger. Like, just relays God's message quick. Uriel is like God's enforcer. It's not like what Michael is. Michael is just the power. He has all the power, but he doesn't go around enforcing it until he's told. Michael is a very like obedient son. So Uriel is kind of the one who goes around enforcing stuff. You know what I mean? Metatron, very smart. Like he's kind of like God's bookkeeper. You can go back to Supernatural. Supernatural kind of described him very weird, but the way that he's very knowledgeable is the way it's kind of that kind of was like the closest angel to the door, as he said. But it wasn't that at all. He kind of was the angel who kind of had to try and transcribe a lot of what God said. So that's just like again, I know a lot of people kind of won't say that Lucifer and Michael are like twins, or in fact the same. Like I don't know, because I guess twins wouldn't exist in that time, but they were like in how we're thinking, twins wouldn't exist in that time, but in God's form, he just already would have been like, oh, just make them the same. You guys literally are the same, but split. Like literally, you guys are two halves of a whole. That was kind of their role. And so when naturally when one tried to go above, when Lucifer tried to go above all, that's when kind of everything just kind of all the balance was upset. And you could see it. You could already see the teetering of this, the teetering of the triangle. Now it's like that. Now Michael and God kind of had to work together to maintain order over Lucifer. It's not supposed to be like that. It ain't supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be like this. God just chills and they maintain order over everything else for God, on behalf of God. Everyone plays their role. That's literally the moral of the Bible, or the moral of the Bible that they're trying to teach you. Play your role. If you don't know your role, you'll find your role. Play your role. And you'll play it excellently. It's really, you're born for it. So, yeah. Micheal and Lucifer are twins. Biologically and all that. I don't know what you want to say. Catch you next time.